What's up, Bears? Eric here. Have y'all finished watching the first half of Witcher Season 3? They're taking a small break. I think it's like a month between episode 5 and episode 6. Episode 5 was rough. Like, me and my partner were watching it and we're like, this is like the worst episode of The Witcher we've ever seen. It was bad. It was bad. I'm sorry if you liked it. More power to you. We were just not feeling it at all. But one of the interesting things about the season is Jaskier's storyline, his character progression throughout the season. He's definitely become like a fan favorite character on the series. And they've done something with this character that has a lot of people upset. I've seen several articles about this and posts on Reddit and different places that are mad that Jaskier is bisexual on the Witcher series. And that deviates from the source material. Even though every time something is an adaptation, it deviates. There's always going to be people that complain about XYZ. But let's read through this for a second, this article here that kind of covers, I went through a few articles and this one sort of covers the most of how I feel about it and, you know, sort of why it makes sense. So it says, Jaskier's bisexuality makes sense for Netflix, but the fans of the book won't approve. Season 3 features one of the biggest character changes we've seen so far as a lovable bard. Jaskier has a relationship with Prince Radovid of Redania. It says, as the episodes progress, Jaskier and Radovan encounter each other on several occasions as they begin working together, but their meetings are festooned with flirtatious comments and knowing glances, particularly from Radovid, who at episode 2 asked Jaskier, does the Witcher know how lucky he is to have you? Now, look, here's the thing. We saw, like, I'm used to being an older gay guy, I'm used to seeing coded characters. So my partner and I were watching it and we're like, yeah, this character's either coded for some sort of queer intent or they're actually going to reveal something like this, you know, sort of by the end of this, if not the end of the first half, but definitely by the end of the season. And everyone that I talked to who was paying attention felt the same way. They were like, yeah, definitely something is going to happen. And, you know, it goes, the pair's most notable meeting comes in episode 4 as Radovid meets with Jaskier in an old barn and reveals that he's learned a song that the bard played for him at a recent gathering. Flattered by his efforts, Jaskier kisses Radovid and the pair proceed to spend the night together for a roll in the hay, as it were. And there you have it. So it was confirmed in this sense that the character was bisexual. Maybe even pansexual. I don't know if it's been explicitly stated yet, but I believe that the creators have said bisexual for Jaskier. Radovid, not totally sure. There's something that happens in the season where it makes it seem like there may be something more there than that. But it goes on here. It says, Jaskier's bisexually makes sense for the Netflix series. Him being bisexual in Netflix Witcher series should come as no surprise to dedicated viewers, as the show has been filled with hints that the bard isn't totally straight since the beginning. Back in season 1, after first meeting with the titular Witcher, Jaskier followed Geralt around like a lost puppy and effectively worshipped the ground that he walked on. In one conversation, Jaskier even said, Geralt, oh, you usually let strangers rub calomel into your lovely bottom. Come on, y'all. It's a line that is unlikely to be spoken between a pair of platonic friends, and later on, after Yennefer enters the picture, Jaskier becomes increasingly jealous of her as she becomes a rival for Geralt's attention. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to ask something about rubbing something into someone's bottom unless I'm interested in something more than a friendship, but it says, in season 2, Jaskier spells out his feelings for Geralt in the song Burn, Butcher, Burn, which feels incredibly like an angry breakup ballad after all that had fallen out. It should also be noted that Radovid doesn't seem to be Jaskier's first non-female partner either. During a conversation Jaskier has with Vespula in the 3rd episode of season 3, we learned that he has been chasing tail of every kind: men, women, dwarves, elves, polymorphous. So that's why I said it may be more for Radovid. It might be something more than bisexuality. It may be pansexual or something on a larger umbrella than just bisexuality. Okay, it goes on here. It says, book fans may not approve. Jaskier, or Dandelion as he's primarily known on the page, has a reputation for being one of the biggest womanizers in the world and is only seen to have relationships with women. However, that is how the erasure of bi and pan sexuality is, because if a character is only seen with a relationship in one gender, they are often assigned that as their sexuality by people that are reading the books or maybe watching a show where a character doesn't get a lot of, you know, extra time on the screen. However, just because someone only has had relationships that we are aware of when it comes to like gender, doesn't mean that that person isn't capable of being bisexual or pansexual, etc. Those things are possible. We just aren't aware of them. And sometimes people who are experiencing, the fluidity of gender identity, sexuality, may not totally know how they feel right away as well. It may be something that comes and goes, and it may be something they're dealing with. So we don't know if that makes him heterosexual or if he was only shown dating women as a bisexual man or a pansexual man. It says, originally Radovid was the son of King Vizimir II in the Netflix series. He and Vizimir are now brothers, although this change was likely made to help condense the timeline of the show, as he would have only been a child at this point in the books. And the reason why I'm pointing that out is I'm just saying that there's other changes that have been made, well, quite a few that have been made on The Witcher that most people have not complained about, at least not this level, but we all know why they're complaining about this. So another deviation for Radovid's character is the fact he appears to be kind and caring in the series, while in the book counterpart had the fierce reputation for being ruthless and stern. Of course, this could all change with some kind of character development in future seasons. And that's true, but as of right now, it is definitely a change in the character. And this is, of course, creating all kinds of outrage over this, even though the show is clearly going in a different direction than the books. And I already see people claiming that this is the reason why Henry Cavill wanted to leave the show. This specific reason. Because Henry Cavill is a fan of The Witcher. And so the fact that the show is sort of adapting even further, he maybe felt like he needed to move on. But I doubt very seriously this was the one thing where he was like, I draw the line at this. I draw the line at Jaskier being bisexual. I don't think that was the case. Unless he comes out and says something to the contrary, I'm going to assume he's not an asshole. He doesn't strike me as an asshole, so I don't think he's going to be an asshole about this. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But look, I think this is great. Bisexual representation is something we don't see very often, because typically bisexuality gets lumped in with other spectrums of sexuality. And so it's good to see a bisexual character who is really getting some very good story development on a popular series. And I wonder where this is going to take his character into the back half of season 3. We won't know for another month or so. But look, let me know what you think about this. Are you someone that you're like, yeah, this makes sense to me, I'm good with this? Are you someone that just doesn't really care one way or the other? Are you someone that's a very big stickler for the books, and for you this is a big problem? I'd love to know anybody's opinions about this, but please keep it respectful in the comments. You guys know if you give me a dumbass response or ridiculous response, you're going to get that in return. So if you want to get something legitimate from me, then leave a legitimate, well thought out criticism. I do appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Bye.